brothers, sisters, and interested ones. To open our exciting convention, we are proud to present the stand-up comedy of the governing body. Featuring those wacky members, brothers David Splane and Stephen 𝗵𝗽𝗀. Let's give them a real love-bombing witness welcome.
Welcome, everyone. I'd like to read a letter that's been circulating among the brothers and sisters recently. You know, during the pandemic, especially, we often spread the word by means of such letters, and they continue to provide a good witness. This one is a model. Though we aren't usually this frank with householders, I think it pays to be more direct in the written word. And these words pack a lot of truth onto one page. Dear neighbor, since the end of the world as we know it is dangerously near, we are writing you to tell you the things your minister has not told you, but which Jehovah's Witnesses want you to know. Jesus Christ, as Michael the Archangel, returned invisibly in the year 1914, the start of the last days, and proceeded to judge all Christian religions. In 1919, Jesus personally selected the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, aka Jehovah's Witnesses, as God's Spirit-directed organization to preach the good news of God's kingdom before God destroys all human governments and false religion in the approaching Battle of Armageddon. Therefore, it is imperative that everyone who wishes to avoid destruction by Jehovah at Armageddon become a Jehovah's Witness as soon as possible. Admittedly, the Watchtower previously claimed that Armageddon would definitely occur in 1914, then again in 1925 it stated that an earthly resurrection of the faithful men of old would certainly occur. Then it was strongly suggested that Armageddon would occur in 1975, when Watchtower officials coined the phrase, "Stay alive till 75." But those were just the predictions of imperfect men. This time, however, the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses is really sure. So, do not hesitate any longer. Do not make the common mistake of reading your Bible without the aid of Watchtower publications, because you might conclude that Jehovah's Witnesses are wrong. The governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses is Christ's faithful and discreet slave, and only the governing body can accurately interpret the Bible. So, forget everything your minister has told you, because all religions, except for Jehovah's Witnesses, are false religion, and their ministers are actually ministers of Satan, who has blinded their eyes. They may preach that Jesus is the mediator between God and men, according to 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 5, but they have not told you that Jesus is only the mediator for the 144,000 Christians who are Spirit-anointed to go to heaven. True, Jesus said that no one comes to the Father except through him, but the only way to Jesus is through the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses, the faithful and discreet slave. Only 144,000 Christians were given the hope of going to heaven with Jesus. All other Christians who survive Armageddon will enjoy everlasting life on a cleansed paradise earth. Only a small number of those 144,000 Spirit-anointed Christians remains on earth today, and all of those are Jehovah's Witnesses. They alone should partake of the bread and wine when commemorating the annual Lord's evening meal. Jehovah's Witnesses believe it is a sin to accept life-saving blood transfusions, because the Bible plainly tells Christians to abstain from blood. Admittedly, many scholars say that the only biblical prohibition regarding blood was against eating the blood of animals killed for food. But those scholars are wrong, because the faithful and discreet slave says so. Just as we said vaccinations, organ transplants, And blood fractions were against God's law. We were wrong about that, but, thousands of Jehovah's Witness men, women, and children have died for refusing life-saving blood transfusions because only the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses can determine what is or is not a matter of conscience, because they speak for Jehovah himself. And, according to the Watchtower, one must be prepared to obey the governing body or one's local elders even if doing so makes no sense from a strategic or human standpoint. If one dies needlessly by doing so, there is always the resurrection hope for those who die for obeying the governing body. But, of course, it's not the person who died that will be resurrected. A new creature will be created and programmed with their memories. The dead loved one will still be dead, forever. And resurrected spouses will be spouses no more. People who leave their family's religion and become a Jehovah's Witness are often disowned and shunned by their families. Such persecution is to be expected because Jesus said he came to cause such divisions among families. However, when Jehovah's Witnesses ostracize, cut off and shun family members who leave their religion for conscientious reasons, such as unscriptural Watchtower teachings and practices, it is out of love to help the straying one return to Jehovah. Tearing families apart out of love is encouraged by the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses. Don't be distracted by all the lawsuits and negative publicity against Jehovah's Witnesses for failing to report the crimes of pedophile elders, ministerial servants, and pioneers, missionaries, within their congregations, which crimes were never reported to civil authorities but were kept hidden in a secret Watchtower database. Jehovah's Witnesses are in the world, but they are not of the world. As Jehovah's representatives, they have the right to disobey laws which they deem to be in conflict with Jehovah's laws. Like the first-century Christians, Jehovah's Witnesses must obey Jehovah as ruler rather than men. So, it is okay for Jehovah's Witnesses to withhold the truth for the purpose of misleading enemies of Jehovah, even if they do so in courts of law after having sworn to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Of course, when we swear to you that we're telling you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, you can trust us implicitly. Before visiting a Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses, be advised that Jehovah's Witnesses are well-groomed and modestly dressed. Their female, approved associates wear minimal makeup and jewelry, and choose dresses that show no cleavage and with hemlines below the knee. Their male, approved associates refrain from wearing beards and tight pants which were designed by homosexuals, according to the Faithful and Discreet Slave. Visitors are encouraged to adhere to these guidelines in order to fit in and to avoid receiving judgmental stares from others. Sincerely, your smiling Jehovah's Witness neighbors.
It's a great letter, but it should also mention that you have to give up birthdays, Christmas, masturbation, your worldly friends and family, and all non-Watchtower publications. Then it would be perfect. But weren't we supposed to tell jokes?
Oh, it's good to laugh at ourselves sometimes, brothers and sisters. It keeps us humble. And we know Jehovah himself is a practical jokester. Remember that time he afflicted the Philistines with hemorrhoids. Here's one. How is a sister like a piñata?
I don't know, Brother Splane. How is a sister like a piñata?
They get hit on, then spill their guts in court, about how they were sexually abused.
Yeah, I'd like to hit them myself sometimes, with the rod of chastisement, for all the trouble they caused the society.
You keep your rod in your pants this time, Stephen. We don't want this crowd to laugh too hard.
Hey, my wife Susan has never complained about it after 45 years of marriage.
That's only because she's not allowed to speak.
Hey, I've got one. How is a Jehovah's Witness child like a physically and mentally handicapped person?
They can't engage in sports or acquire a higher education. What happens to the world when all the brothers quit their jobs to devote full time to the ministry? Their grass grows tall and their windows stay dirty. Thank you, you've been great. But you'll never be as great as us.
Hey, where'd everybody go?
They couldn't handle the truth, I guess.
Hey, David, we're in the dark.
Yes, Stephen. We're in the dark. You should be used to that by now.